Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So this from Stephen Bull Dieppe here on Twitter. Fact, before Ripple's response to the lawsuit, XRP was trading around 25 cents. After the response, XRP has reached a higher low, trading around 38 cents. You can't make this stuff up, guys, and when in doubt, zoom out. We got to look at these charts, and we got to realize what is going on here, and, he doesn't even mention the pump that just occurred over the weekend. So right now, XRP is trading at about 37.5 cents, but we got to remember the SEC did sue Ripple, and sure enough, that was around here, around this point in time, and sure enough, of course, the XRP price plummeted. And so before all this even occurred, XRP was trading in and around this area here. Of course, there was massive hysteria, lots of people buying into cryptocurrencies. SEC lawsuit brought that right back down. It did actually reach a low of about 17 cents. We did kind of see the trend try to move its way up. Then there was this past weekend. Finally, we're kind of leveling out here at 37.5 cents, give or take. And that level is ultimately above what we have been seeing in the past. So higher lows, and now we just need to make higher highs. This is a good thing in the grand scheme of things. Of course, I know you're unhappy because you're not a millionaire yet, but patience is a virtue in this space, especially. To say the least. Okay, 50.5 cents. We did see that resistance being broken over the weekend because of the GameStop style pump. But of course, XRP price did dump back down. So what's the level we have to reach now? Well, this level here is going to be significant resistance right up here, and we did actually breach that level. Originally, it was at about 76 cents. Back in November, we did reach a high of about 79 cents. You guys can see that up there. And over the weekend, we did try to get back up to this level, but I'm finding that this will be the next significant level of resistance that we have to break. First things first, though, this 50.5 cent level is going to be crucial. And meanwhile, Bitcoin still rallying. So this is good news. Bitcoin is at least still rallying, making its way up. Hopefully we can break out of this bullish flag pattern, make higher highs, and of course that will bring the rest of the crypto market up with it. Right now the market sits at just over $1,087 billion, give or take. Bitcoin dominance still hovering in the 60s, and we haven't really seen Bitcoin budge. So an alt season isn't underway. When we start to see that number plummet, that's when we will know an alt season is underway. But right now Bitcoin and alts moving in tandem, more or less, I'll say. Okay, Bitcoin trading at 35,900, Ethereum 1,523, XRP trading at 371.371. What's going on in the world? Great news for Ripple and XRP adoption, because we've got the Federal Reserve and they've updated their FedNowSM service to launch in 2023. Now, I reported on this the other day. FedNow adding to the statement saying that they have rolled back their intended date with development of the FedNow service well underway. The Federal Reserve today amended the industry-wide launch timing for its instant payment platform to 2023. Now, I know that sounds pretty far off, but they were assuming that it would be 2023 or 2024. The announcement narrows the delivery time frame by a full year, updating a previous notice in 2019 that indicated industry-wide availability in 2023 or 2024. Over the last several months, we've made significant strides towards our program milestones for the FedNow service. This coming from Esther George, President and CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City, and executive sponsor of the FedNow program. Based on the FedNow team's progress, we are pleased to share this update timeline so the industry can continue to prepare for the adoption of FedNow. Now, it's interesting. I'm going to get to something Esther George says later, and I'm going to link it to something that the XRP community, I think, is going to really like to hear from back a couple of years ago. I did a video on it back in December of 2019. But first, I wanted to set this up because we know Ripple is in a lawsuit, and a lot of the questions surrounding this are still kind of unclear. All right, I talked about U.S. SEC Executive Joseph Hall in a previous video, and I don't want to go into this in too much detail because I did already go over this in one video, but as I'm putting the pieces together, I'm really realizing how bizarre this lawsuit really is, and it's starting to become clearer why the SEC could have potentially sued Ripple when they did, and how they did it. So if you guys didn't see the original video that I did, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner with Executive Joseph Hall, basically saying that the SEC's case is not a slam dunk case. As for the strength of the SEC's case, Hall believes the regulatory body had much better options than to go after Ripple. So we've got to think to ourselves, Jay Clayton wanting to maybe make a statement at the end of his term? drops a lawsuit on Ripple, and this obviously has had the effects that it has had. Why on earth did an agency bring the case that was considerably less of a slam dunk than its previous crypto enforcement actions? Barring a settlement, the Article 3 courts and not the SEC will ultimately say XRP is a security. There are plenty of digital assets with more tenuous use cases. I remember reading this to you guys before. Any one of which might have better helped the SEC etched its views into federal case law before taking on a leviathan like Ripple Labs. A loss on the merits of the XRP litigation could epically damage the SEC's regulatory project when it comes to digital assets. So none of it is really making sense. And we've even heard from some lawyers who have been analyzing this case and kind of picking through it, demonstrating to us that it isn't a slam dunk case. I mean, John Deaton has said it. Jeremy Hogan has also put out a few videos where he talks about the Ripple and XRP lawsuit. Not a slam dunk case. And this SEC executive, or was he, he was a former executive, Joseph Hall, also says the same thing. So why do it? Why do it? Interesting question. So just to this point, Michael at Val5Links here posted this. Ripple is requesting any letters between Vitalik Buterin and Joe Lubin, the creators of Ethereum, and members of the SEC. It is also asking for letters sent by members of Congress and former SEC Chairman Jay Clayton. So I mentioned this in a video the other day, that Ripple's lawyers are actually going to the SEC and saying, well, look, we want the communication that you had with the Ethereum Foundation, namely the founders, Vitalik Buterin, Joseph Lubin, and we want to see what is what, because you have already deemed Ethereum, or rather you've given Ethereum clarity, and so why is that? And John Deaton also posted a video with Vitalik Buterin basically stating how Ethereum was going to be funded. You would receive 100, this was back in 2015, you would receive 1,000 Ethereum tokens for 1 Bitcoin at that time. So this is the way he was going to help fund the project. I don't have that clip on me right now, but just to that point, and Ripple realizes this, so their lawyers are going after the SEC to find those documents. The SEC's filing, based on the overreaching legal theory, amounts to picking virtual currency winners and losers, as the SEC has exempted Bitcoin and Ether from similar regulation. This coming from Ripple's lawyers. Ripple's requests are legal and valid through what's known as the Freedom of Information Act. The law is designed to ensure all government-based information remains transparent and available to members of the public. The act is frequently utilized by journalists to obtain information for stories regarding what's happening behind congressional doors. No contracts were ever established, so as determined in the past, Bitcoin is a commodity, and therefore under the monetarization of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. By contrast, Ethereum may have come about through a token offering, but has since undergone so many changes that it was determined to not be a security back in 2018, a move that was strongly welcomed by members of the trading community. Ripple is denying that any investment contracts were ever established through the token sale it hosted in 2013. Furthermore, executives say they have never made any claims that purchasing XRP would ever garner investors' stake in Ripple itself, thus it cannot fall into the securities category. So the critical point here is that Ethereum could have been a security or treated as a security in the past, but then in 2018, it was determined not to be a security. So it has undergone so many changes is what this article states here, and I believe that Ripple might use that same argument in court, considering what Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson have been accused of, utilizing XRP in that way that would constitute a security. XRP clearly is not a security, but bringing me back to my original point, why would the SEC do this if, it's not a slam dunk case as we've heard, and it almost seems like they're just wasting the court's time. So, we've also got this from Seal_JD Law on Twitter. Ripple signed 50 new customers after the SEC complaint. What does that tell you? This is all an illusion, and I agree. Well, first of all, the rest of the world is not subject to SEC regulation, so there's that. But also, the fact that more clients are getting on board with RippleNet speaks volumes, even after this. They are not skeptical. They are confident that Ripple is going to come out of this. They do not see any problems with this, and so they are putting probably what's millions of dollars on the table, giving their money to Ripple and saying, yeah, we want to partner with you, we want to integrate your systems, and we have confidence, ultimately, that you will deliver for us. Coffee on the Bus says SEC badly wants Ripple under its control, like how anyone desires the strongest weapon in the game. If the SEC wins the lawsuit, which is unlikely, it will definitely not dissolve Ripple, but take control of it. And so business as usual coming from Steve. Below is a list of partners that don't care what the SEC think, and this just listing a bunch of Ripple's partners already, people that are already integrated, or rather companies that are already integrated on RippleNet. Not going to go over them, but I will leave this in the description for you guys if you want to read further. Things that make you go, another one from John Deaton. In 2015, Ripple gets fined and enters a consent agreement for violating AML/KYC rules over XRP sales to Roger Ver, and settles with FinCEN and DOJ over selling virtual currency in quotes, but 5 years later gets sued by the SEC claiming those same sales were securities. But this is okay. So John Deaton retweeting out Roger Ver's tweet here. The SEC is a joke. Tesla and GameStop. So this is Nancy Pelosi buys $1.25 million in Tesla stock on January 24th, 2021. And Joe signs an executive order for all Fed vehicles to be electric vehicles the very next day. Absolutely classic. Can't make this stuff up, says Massimo. It is a coincidence that shortly after we get this, Tesla gets a lofty $1,200 price target, as fireworks are not over. So interesting to say the least. Don't want to dwell on the government so much and the goings on there, but it all brings you back to what the mandate is, what is the MO, why throw Ripple under the bus? Well, guys, we know Ripple is a threat. Okay, the current system works as it is. Big banks make a lot of money, and politicians are likely, and I'm speculating, in the pockets of big money in the United States. Big banks, these financial institutions that like making money the way they've been doing it for the last few decades. And the fact of the matter is, Ripple is here to shake things up. Now, I don't have to go on about why XRP is better overall. I think you guys know that by now. But they are putting the pressure on the current system to, change, alter what is currently working. Well, working in quotes. Obviously, it's not the most efficient system. And they want to make it better. They want to improve on the financial system. And governments in like Japan, for example, banks in Japan, very friendly to Ripple, signing on to RippleNet. There's a consortium of Japanese banks that are already doing this as one example. And that's just one country in the world. Many other countries around the world are doing the same kind of thing. And so I wanted to bring you guys this. This is Esther George, if you remember, the person that I was mentioning in this article here. That was originally posted by XRPCRYPTOWOLF. The Federal Reserve updates its FedNow service launch date to 2023. Now, Esther George is the president and CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City, an executive sponsor for the FedNow program, and wanted to bring you guys this clip here from Jeff at ISO_XRP here on Twitter. Let me play you this clip. I believe it was just from recently. Listen to what she has to say.
What difference will this service make? They point to the fact that they have an app on their phone that enables them to pay friends today, anytime. So what context could you provide to us about the difference?
I often hear that. We've become used to saying we can do so many things on our phone, and clearly you now can move money through various services on your phone. And I expect that is going to continue, and it could well proliferate. The things we're talking about today really represent the infrastructure, as Governor Brainerd said in her remarks. This is really the plumbing of the payment system. And so when people are moving money, it may feel like you and I are trading money instantaneously, but the fact is it has to go through the plumbing in a way that may take much longer for those things to actually come out of my account and get into your account. By updating our infrastructure with this kind of a service, we can now realize the full functionality of what real-time payments means. And I think going forward, we'll only encourage more innovation. It'll be built on a foundation that is much more modern than we have today.
I always love when we're referred to this payment system as the plumbing, because I never imagined I'd be called a plumber.
Okay, and so I will leave it there. The plumbing, a very interesting way to describe the internal workings of a financial system. Now, do you guys remember where we've heard this before? Remember back in 2019 when Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse reiterates pro-regulation credentials? So this article from October 2019, Brad Garlinghouse also highlighted how the Libra white paper could have been successfully deployed had Facebook managed to gain trust over its users and government organizations, while Ripple's presence in the cross-border payments realm has led many to consider it a bank. Garlinghouse clarified that Ripple does not hold deposits, accounts, or wallets. He explains, in some ways, we are plumbers, like we're enabling a much more efficient plumbing. You can't be an anonymous transaction on RippleNet because every endpoint we work with as a regulated financial institution. Brad Garlinghouse came out way back in 2019, discussed the fact that RippleNet is indeed that back layer and technology to essentially make things work. We are the plumbers. This is the internal plumbing. This is not what you see when you are making the transaction. The end user is going to go from point A to point B pretty much instantaneously without any friction. Well, that all has to happen somewhere, and we heard Esther George here talk about just that. You know, there's that back-end process that happens that we take for granted, and this is what FedNow is going to accomplish. Of course, we just heard this positive news with regards to the integration with FedNow. We heard about the plumbing. Brad Garlinghouse has even said it back in 2019. And I don't know if you guys remember this video that I did back on December 11th, 2019. Probably not, because I do lots of videos all the time. But I wanted to just bring it to your attention. I will link that video up here in the top right-hand corner if you guys want to catch it. This, coincidentally enough, from Jeff at ISO_XRP, the same person who posted this. And so I'm sure that plumbing is on Jeff's mind. He posted this way back on December 10th, 2019. And I know that he's not the most popular person in the XRP community right now, but I wanted to show you guys this clip because I think this is very relevant. Let me play you this.
Moving to a different issue, this year Facebook announced its plan to develop a new cryptocurrency called Libra. While the SEC is one of a number of regulators who would have jurisdiction over Libra, can you speak to how the Libra announcement has affected how the SEC and other regulators are working to be responsive to and innovative to market developments and trends like cryptocurrencies?
Sure. And I appreciate the question, and the question highlights what happened with that announcement. And whether it's, I'm not going to speak about the particular product, it's not appropriate for me to do so, but the announcement was a focal point for regulators of different types to recognize that digitization and the digitization of the plumbing and other aspects of our financial system, including payment transfers, et cetera, it is coming. The, what I would say, just the natural economic forces that it unleashes, taking fat out of the system, for lack of a better term, it's happening. Now, we have to recognize that that's happening, recognize our mission, safety and soundness, investor protection, fair markets, and ensure that as that digitization takes place, we're being true to those principles.
I'm going to stop it there. I wasn't going to, but I think Jay Clayton, despite what you think about him today, brings up a very interesting point. He knows that it's coming, and what they want to do at the SEC is to make sure that investors are protected, basically stating that they want to cross all their T's, dot all their I's. And so could this be why they wanted to use Ripple as that example? Because they know they are going to be a big part in ushering in this new financial system. Remember, guys, this happened a year before the XRP lawsuit was dropped.
But we should not be fighting that digitization, because if we fight it, it will go around us.
Well, thank you. That mirrors my feelings on it, and I assume that when you say it is coming,
I'm sorry, Senator, it's here.
This year.
It's here. It is here already.
Yeah, I see. It's here. Yeah, it is here.
It's here. Right out of the horse's mouth, Jay Clayton. Again, this was a year before they dropped the lawsuit. So I think it's becoming clearer and clearer. The SEC knows Ripple is going to be a big part of this financial system, but they had to do something. They needed to make an example of somebody. And, when you go after the biggest fish, that really does set a precedent. All those other little projects are going to have to follow suit once the SEC comes down and finally gives some sort of clarification as to what is going on with Ripple and XRP. This will be that moment in time when the United States of America gets that cryptocurrency clarity, I think. I don't think Ripple is going to be harmed. I do not think XRP is going to be harmed. And so at this point, guys, we just have to keep our eye on the prize. I wanted to also just mention Life Stuff Media. If you guys aren't following them, follow them on Twitter. Dustin is coming out with the Gene Simmons interview, and he talks specifically about Ripple and and XRP. I believe they've got a teaser down here already. I'll link it in the description. So what do you guys think about Esther George discussing the plumbing of the new financial system for the United States? Is it a coincidence that Brad Garlinghouse was using the exact same language just over a year ago? And that Jay Clayton is also even saying that it's here and there's no stopping it. Tell me what you think down in the comments, because I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.